UnVEXed, an adjective, it means not surprised, easygoing. This is a show about VEX Robotics, and we're so happy to have you guys streaming live on YouTube. You guys can subscribe, check us out, and email us at theworldonvex@gmail.com. We have got an action-packed episode today talking all about the road to the VEX Robotics World Championship. And I'm just going to jump right in. We're going to start talking about been there, done that. We've got a lineup of a bunch of robotics teams, and we're going to chat with them about what they have to say about the road to VEX Robotics World Championship. And let's bring them in and interview and talk about the World Championship. So if we can have you guys introduce yourselves, we're going to start with Mark.
Mark Zink, Mankato West High School, my 11th year in robotics.
I'm Andrew Kim. This is my 5th year of robotics, and I'm on 8110D.
All right, now moving on to Southland. We've got Coach Paula.
Hi, Paula Mortensen, Southland Robotics. This is my 10th year coaching robotics.
I'm Jack Bruggeman, and I'm a junior, and I've been in robotics since 5th grade.
Welcome, Southland. And from the great state of Ohio.
Hey, Ohio's in the house. This is Christy Matlack with North Union Robotics, 6008C. I've coached VEX for about 12 years now. This is my daughter, Leah. Go ahead, Leah.
My name is Leah, and this is my 8th year in robotics.
Awesome. Hey, it's so great to have you students joining us today and coaches. And we're going to jump right into talking about the World Championship. Now, this is your opportunity to talk about, okay, you've been there, done that. What advice do you guys have for teams that are headed to the World Championship? I'm talking about inspections. I'm talking about your booth setup, your practice fields. You know, how do you get your skills runs in? How do you do scouting? So pick a topic here and give us some insight about what would you say to a team that's headed to the World Championship in just a couple of weeks here?
All right. Well, first of all, congratulations on earning a world invite. That's quite an honor, and it's super cool that you're able to be there. Have fun and go there understanding that anybody can do well, and keep trying no matter how frustrating, how exciting it can be. Get to know people, live in the moment, and do your very best.
That's always fantastic advice. Now, Jack, have you got some more insight about Southland and what you wish you would maybe have known before you went to Worlds?
All right, so the thing I would have liked to know before I went to Worlds is definitely be over-prepared and make sure you have everything you need and even more than that. Because once you get there, it's really just you, not much else. And then you got a whole bunch of teams around you, and then it's really a time to have fun, meet new people, explore new things, and then really see what's out there, see what different strategies there is, and then see what you may not have thought of. And then, yeah, it's really just a big experience and something that is really cool for all.
Cool stuff. Hey, Mankato, what do you guys have to say about maybe alliance partners? How do you go out and seek out your alliance partners before a match? How do you work that?
Yeah, so we like to have a team of scouts on the team, and they go ahead and talk to all our alliance partners beforehand, like at least like a good amount of time before a match with them, so we can figure out autonomous mostly, and then match strats, and then just anything else that we might possibly need. And then that's another thing. Scouting is probably one of the biggest thing to do at Worlds, because I know at a lot of local tournaments, teams know each other, so they know who's good, maybe who they might want to partner with. But when you go to Worlds, a lot of the time you might not know as many people. You might know some people from online going in, but generally you want to have probably at least 1 or 2 people watching most of the matches, try to figure out who's who you want to pair with. And then you can't always expect just because you are higher seeded that you might get picked by someone you want to be. So you always want to make sure that you're talking to the right people, and you want to have a plan set in mind.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work. I mean, to coordinate all that with your team members and to try to sell yourselves. I mean, hey, look at, we're high in the rankings. We can do this in skills. I mean, how do you go about selling yourselves to other teams, especially when they're from all over the world and they don't know who you are necessarily?
Yeah, it's definitely handy to have that skill score that you can explain, and then it's a good indicator of level of skill, I'd say. I always look at driver skills as a huge thing, and then programming skills is a little bit less maybe, but I would say that it's still very important, especially this year because autonomous is so key. And then I would say, yeah, just make sure you're talking to as many people as possible in the top, because you don't want to narrow yourself to one specific team that you think is the most ideal, but the chance that you get with the person that you perfectly want to alliance with is not super high a lot of the time, and you don't want to count on that.
Awesome. Well, hey, how about folks in Ohio? What have you got to say about alliance selection, scouting, just worlds in general? Pick a topic. This is awesome.
So for us, when we do our scouting, we do a lot of it ahead of time before we head to Worlds. A lot of it is looking at how teams qualified at states, how their qualification matches went, how their finals went, all of their stats. We look at their skills. Their skills is so key. It shows us how they can play the game on their own, and it really just shows us their strengths. We look at their awards, just seeing where they're strong at and how we can be paired with them well.
Oh man, I would be rotten at this because honestly, I would show up and then I'd be, okay, what now? And you're telling me that you do the research in your division and you go out and actually find what awards they've won, what events they've competed in, and their stats. Can you tell me, where do you get their stats information?
All of their stats are on robot events. We can look at their matches on VEX via pretty much any of those public bases.
Okay. And, sometimes I see those stats on VEX via, and I don't always understand them. Is there a good resource that we could say, here's where you can go to find out what those stats mean?
Well, one thing that is really important is autonomous win point. You can see that they have high autonomous win points. You know that they can play their game well. If they're good, if they have a good autonomous program for matches, then that can really boost your rankings with them and give you those points.
All right. Well, hey, that's good stuff. Jack, have you got more to add to this about any topic related to being at VEX Worlds?
So right when you get there, you walk into this big old venue and then you have all your stuff and then you see all these people around and then you're trying to find your pits. It's really just a big experience, and then you walk into the pit area and realize how big it is, and then having to walk around, find your pit, and then actually get into your pits, get all set up. And then one thing you want to make sure you're doing is keeping everything very organized at your pits, and that'll just make everything go so much easier throughout the competition. And then making sure people, at least one person, if not the whole team, there whenever you're not competing, just in case if any other teams want to come look at you, come talk to you, or if you can go around and actually talk to other teams too.
Yeah, if I were
like
to add
that a lot. Years ago they used to do judging in the pits, and now it's gone to this remote model. So it's difficult to find somebody if you wanted to have a conversation with them. So I like that idea of leaving somebody behind. That way they can point them to, hey, they're over at the skills field and over at the practice field. That's good stuff.
Our teams often left like a dry erase board at their pit. If they can't leave somebody there at the table, they'll leave a note that says, hey, I'm at the skills field or I'm at the practice field. They've left a note to judges before. They almost missed a judged interview last year because we were so far away. Our division was so far away from the pit that we just kind of had a little travel case, and we hung out there at the division for a good part of the day, and somebody happened to go back to the pit. Judges were sitting there waiting for them. So to leave a note for the judges that says, hey, we're in our division, you can get a hold of us at this number, and the judges will come find you. They want to make sure that they follow your schedule and that they're not taking you away from the things that you need to do, but they still want to talk to you. So always either leaving somebody in your pit area or leaving a note where you can be found or where they can get a hold of you is key.
I love it. That makes perfect sense. I mean, it's not like a regional local event where you can just say, oh, just find the coach over there. You know, where are you going to find anybody at this place? It's huge. All right. Mark, looks like you're going to have some closing words there for us on as far as, you know, been there, done that, VEX Worlds. What advice do you guys have in Mankato going into this amazing adventure?
I'll let Andrew start.
Yeah, so I think Jack was talking about staying organized, but you always, yeah, last year we were at the science division, which is so far from the pits. We would always expect to have to maybe travel like 3 to 5 minutes to get through like up and down like a ramp to get to compete. So I would say you always want to keep all your tools and anything you might need on your box or in hand, so you're always prepared.
Extra batteries.
That's fantastic. Have you guys seen the folks that have tool belts?
Yeah.
And wear comfortable shoes. It is a long ways.
All right, guys. Well, you know, go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say, if you have multiple teams too, it seems like based on the numbering, at least tournament manager in previous years at Worlds, the matches in different divisions are kind of almost synchronized pretty close together. So you're kind of leaving one division, getting to the next one, watching multiple teams out there and everything. So just being there, or otherwise you're watching one match and one live on your phone on live stream or whatever, and just having fun. You know, like everybody said, that's a big thing about it. Compete at a high level, get to meet as many people as you can and have a great time. So
yeah, the live stream is a huge key too, because I remember at almost a lot of tournaments that are like multiple days, the night after the first day, I like to go back, and if there's any key teams I want to see, I go watch their matches from the day, and if they have any setbacks, I want to see what went wrong and then what went well.
I love it. You guys are a bunch of VEX Robotics world veterans. It's amazing. I wish all of you the best of luck. Represent your hometowns and your states, and have a fantastic time at the World Championships. So good luck to all of you, and thank you for your incredible advice. I mean, you talk about things that I would have never guessed. I mean, that's exactly why we wanted your perspective, because, you know, I'm not a competitor. The coaches are not competitors. You guys know this stuff in and out. So thank you for your time, and good luck to you at the World Championships.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good luck, everyone.
Well, hey, next up. Go ahead.
I just said good luck, everyone. I can't wait to see everybody there. That's one of my favorite things about Worlds, is making friends and then being able to go back year after year and see people again.
Fantastic, guys. Well, again, good luck, and we're going to start our next segment here. It's called What's in the Box? And this one, we're going to bring in a supervisor from the Homeland Security TSA to talk about, hey, how do you fly with VEX Robotics equipment? And let's bring in Todd. He's one of the UnVEXed founders from Canada, and he's going to conduct an interview with Brandon and talk about how do you fly with robotics equipment and robots. So take care, guys, and let's move on to our next segment.
Hey, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. This is the first time I actually get to meet Brandon, other than a few minutes before. Often, as you can tell, because I'm on the west coast of Canada, when we're going to any big event, we're always flying. So, which means at some point they're going to the Canadian version or the American version of TSA. There's all kinds of little things we can talk of, but I think I want to start kind of with the first one. So which gives you more problems, batteries or tools?
Honestly, they can both give you the biggest problem.
What would you say for batteries is the thing that most people don't get? And I think I have a couple of my thoughts too, but I want to hear what the expert says.
Just make sure they're not plugged into your robot when you put them in your suitcase.
Yeah,
That's the biggest thing. It doesn't come on.
Yeah, they try to put lithium ion in their checked luggage or their luggage, and so they have to carry those in their carry-on. Is that the right answer?
Correct. The lithium ion batteries, you have to carry them with you onto the aircraft and through security. Safety reasons, that way they don't accidentally come on and slowly catch fire in the cargo bin. So the lithium batteries, make sure you're carrying them on the plane with you.
And the opposite of that, which is why I'm convinced this confuses people, is, and with tools, can they put them in their carry-on? I know what the answer is.
You certainly can actually carry tools in your carry-on. They just have to be under 7 inches. So like your pliers, your screwdrivers, things like that, if they're less than 7 inches, you can carry them. Otherwise, put them in your check bag. That is by far the easiest thing to do because you're not going to be working on your robot on the plane. So put it in your toolbox with your check bags and it'll be fine and it'll save you all the hassle.
I know sometimes you guys have to, well, have to is a strong word, but you do open up the robots and have a look inside, right?
Correct. Depending on where you guys are flying from and which equipment that airport might have, it could go through an x-ray machine or it's not going to fit and they have to manually open up the suit or the box or case or whatever you have your robot in, and they're going to look at it. And honestly, like for me, I'm going to be curious when I look at it and kind of wonder what it is. So it's not uncommon that they might question you and want to know exactly what is this.
Is it helpful? Some years we've traveled and we've put, like on the outside of our case, this is a competitive high school robotics. These are our robot going to this place. Is that helpful to you as a TSA agent? I mean, you don't have to believe it, but would that help in your curiosity even?
It would help. Yeah, if just something simple like you just said, yeah, this is a competition robot. This is what it is designed to do. And just a little brief explanation. If you want to throw a little picture, you can, but a little brief explanation would help us immensely when we are going to screen it and we look at it and we open that box and it can look really bad to us. And having that explanation there would be, all right, so this is not something serious. This is a robot, and I can look at it then. Yeah,
so if I can offer to teams to not only do you have to design it so when you pack it away, and some of those, other side, robo cases, you see I have some of the ones we'll even talk about. RoboSource sells those. Pelican Sign's a bigger version. I've even built one myself using the same thing the music industry does. But that's the way to go rather than just wrapping it in cardboard and hoping for the best, right? You'd probably have to agree with that, right?
I would definitely agree with that. You're going to want to have a solid case around it because I can tell you, as much as you put fragile on those things, the airline is not going to care. Us going through
and I want to clarify it.
Yeah. Security will be gentle with it.
Yeah. It does not TSA that is tough on our packages.
Nope.
It's
it's the rest of them.
I tell teams when they pack, you got to practice basically planning a robot being turned over 3 or 4 times in that box. There's all kinds of things. One of the little tricks I'm actually just going to show and see what you think of this. So one of the things I tell the teams to do is people often know about putting like something under the wheels because you don't want to bend your axles. But of course, you can attach to your frame in all 3 dimensions. This now looks like something for a calculus lesson or something. But by doing that, going all the way through the sides, it makes it easy to lift in and out. It can't shift on you. And if you find the right place to touch your robot, it's going to make their job easier and your robot more likely to survive. So that's just a little idea that we can do. And what about, so I've also seen teams pack a lot of extra stuff in that box. That's probably not a good idea, right? Like cram it to the point of it's absolutely stuffed.
If you're putting extra, like a sweatshirt or some clothing in there to try and add some padding so that your robot doesn't shift around in the box, that's understandable. But the more stuff you put in there, the more likely that they're going to have to look at it, the more possibility that it's not going to look good to them. So if you can avoid putting stuff in there, that's the best. Package that robot in the box so that it doesn't move as it just sits in there, like with that tool you just showed. That would work too.
Yeah, just to add to that, the teams that can't necessarily block it that way, I'd really strongly suggest you either at least block on your axles, or the best answer is actually pull the axles out for the transportation, because it's going to get dropped a couple times. I mean, it's got to go from where you drop it to the airplane and back to you again. So it's going to be rough on it. So, and TSA's got to take it out and put it back in. The more chances you give it to bend your axles, the only way to find that out is when you drive it and it drives a funny shape. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much describes. I assume there's a good website people can go look at if they're not sure of stuff.
Yeah, you can just go to tsa.gov and there's a link on there. I believe it says, "What can I bring?" And you just type in what you want to ask if you can bring, and it'll tell you whether you can or not and what the rules and regulations are on it.
Well, that's great. And thanks I think we're pretty much, we got the basics for them. They can always go there and check more. And thank you very much, Brandon, for this interview, and also for what you do to keep us safe in the air. As someone who flies a fair bit, I want you guys doing a good job every day. Thanks.
Not a problem. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
All right, we're moving on to our next segment. Hey, yo!
Hey, yo!
Let's bring in our referee experts, John Queen and Clint Matlock, here to talk about referees. Got something to say? Over to them.
Hey, I'll go real quick. First off, I just want to say great job, everybody, on making it to Worlds. First and foremost, just have a good time. I know that John's going to talk about inspection, but one of the things that I want to talk about today, as far as the Q&A, the official Q&A is officially closed. If you have any questions that you're unclear about, you can go out to Robot Events and you can submit that to their World Driver meeting. So make sure you do that. The one thing that I want to talk about that will help you, you're going to get there, you're going to be excited, is inspection. I want to make sure that you know that before you leave, you have time now. Just make sure that your brain is up to date. They are using the new V5 field control system. This will be their second year. So you'll want to make sure that your brain is updated to the current VEX OS, which is 1.1.2. So that'll help you out. Make sure you have your team number there. Ours would be 6008C. They don't want anything else. That's the naming convention for that. I know John's going to talk a little bit about field disconnects, so I want to touch on that real quick. The new V5 field control systems will give a lot of telemetry and a lot of data to the field techs and the referees and all that. Probably the main ones that we'll see will be cable drops and radio drops. It's important that you place your V5 radio in a spot on your robot that, one, is not buried down inside your robot, and two, that's not like this robot here that you see on the screen, because if we see a radio disconnect, one of the first things that a field tech or the head ref is going to look at is where you have that. If you look at that, just by bumping into the side of the field where that radio is at, can cause a disconnect or getting hit by another robot. So you want to make sure that you protect that radio, because once you have a field connect, you may not get back into the match. If the whole field shuts down, they're going to talk to a tech about that to see about a rerun. But chances are, if it's one robot that drops, they're going to pinpoint it to probably a radio issue or something else. Other than that, that's all I have, and I want to wish you all a great and fun time at VEX Worlds. John, your mic is muted.
Yeah. Hey, it happens. Anyways, that's good stuff. Let's keep it up. So I want to talk about inspections. I want you guys to understand that inspections are important, and I don't want any surprises. So this year at Worlds, we're going to inspect robots. We're going to inspect your intake with a disc in your robot, and then we're going to size your robot, as you see here. And if you look in this photo, well, wait a minute. That robot's out of size. That robot's going to hold itself up to an SG4 violation anytime it picks up a disc. That's something we did in Ohio. I know we did in Michigan, and I know we did in Indiana. I don't know if everyone else did it that way and looked at it, but the way the rule states, you're supposed to stay 18 by 18 by 18 until endgame. And endgame is the last 10 seconds. So teams that have a floating intake, if you were intaking discs and you were coming out of size, you're illegal at that point when you come out of size. So it's just something to be mindful, teams. You made it to Worlds. This is awesome. You're going to go there and compete against the best robots in the world. You're all going to go for that title. I would sure hate for a team to be tripped up by this, to walk in there and go, wait, we did it all year. Well, that doesn't matter. These are what we're going to look at. They're going to look at that at Worlds. So it's something maybe now, let's address it. Let's get there and we won't have the same issue. That's my biggest thing that I had on inspections to talk about, was a disc and your intake bringing you out of size. Other than that, I think teams should be ready. The other key you can watch out for is plastic. Make sure you're not over on plastic. Shouldn't be an issue. Decoration is decoration. Just make sure it's cut out of one 12 by 24 sheet. And that's all that you guys should have to worry about.
Did you want to talk about that video?
Oh, yes. And let me bring up one more point. I've got a video. We're going to cue a video here. This happened in States. This was in the U.S. Army Finals. We're going to watch a robot pick up some discs here and coast. If you watch that robot that's sitting still in the middle of the field there, that robot had a radio drop. We were at 1 minute and 20 seconds in a match. So right now, essentially, we have a 2v1. I've got red 2011E against 2 blue robots. That red robot is dead, sitting in the water. But if you'll notice here on the left and you'll look at this bottom team here, that is the team that has that robot. They haven't stopped talking. The pit is working. There's one driver out there, and everyone there is helping them. And this driver is doing a great job on 2 robots. You'll notice red already had their basket full when this started. And blue is trying the best they can to get there. But here we've gone. We're now at 1 minute that this robot's been dead, and it's a 2v1. This is a great map and a great way to show you that we've had a radio disconnect here. If we all watched that, we didn't see any contact. You didn't see anything to tell you that something was wrong. We know radio disconnects happen. The key to this match was at the very, very end of this match, when it was all said and done, red won. Red winning this match meant we didn't have to talk about it, and we didn't have to make a decision if that disconnect was match affecting or not. So be mindful, like Clint talked about, where you put your radio. Make sure it's not exposed and sitting out where it can hit metal. I have seen, I think I did the tally. I have seen 1,800 and something matches. I counted it up, signature events, state events, and I still have states to go. This weekend I'm going to be in Indiana. I'll see you out there. But I've seen a ton of matches. Normally when I see a disconnect, there's a huge collision, or it might not even be much of a collision, but there is a collision. That happens, and the next thing you know, a radio has stopped working. So the best thing you guys can do, make sure you keep those radios in a good spot, not where they can get hit, not buried in metal like Clint was talking about, and somewhere where they can get a good signal. Now remember, at Worlds, the field tech's going to have the final say. He's going to tell us if it's a field issue or if it's a robot issue. You don't want it to be a robot issue because it's already been made up. If it's a robot issue, it's a robot issue. What I'm going to say is build a better robot.
Yep. And just to add to John, watching that match, it's always good to go into a match with a plan B. Don't think that your match is going to go the way that it has gone all season. Make sure you have that plan B. Have a backup plan. That's all I have.
All right, turn it back to Andrew.
All right, guys, that was really insightful information from our referees. If you missed that, some of those stumbling points, that's going to be super important heading into Worlds. So we need more subscribers. There we go. So we're reaching the end of our show. We've got 2 segments left. A Q&A is about to start here. And now we're just going to do a go around. And, what is your favorite part about teams going to the World Championship Tournament? And for this one, we're going to start with Paula.
There is no Q&A yet, by the way.
Well, again, just a reminder that congratulations on getting to Worlds. And this is a big deal. This is the biggest educational thing that's happening in curricular, and you guys are going to learn a ton. Have fun.
Thanks, Paula. And Mark?
Go ahead, Andrew.
I'd say, my favorite thing is also meeting a lot of new people. And the coolest thing is when you talk to someone on Discord or Snapchat or online at all, and then you come to the tournament, you talk to them in person like they're actually a real person, and then you get to see what they built and what you might have seen online. And I just think that's really cool.
Fantastic. Clint?
Oh, man. I absolutely love VEX World Championship. I love watching the students compete, but most of all, I love being with my people. It's great to be able to connect with the mentors and the coaches and all of that in person. And I think it's just as much fun for the adults that are taking part as it is for the students. But we're there really to just root those students on and watch them do their best.
Thank you. Mr. John Queen.
Hey, yo, I love people. I love robots. I love the students. This is awesome. I mean, it's all under one roof. We get to all hang out. We get to talk robots. Hey, see that? Subscribe now. You should do that. Always do that. But Worlds is going to be a blast. You guys are going to get out of it what you put in. So when you get there, have fun. That's all we got to do. Let's have fun. We're all going to have fun together.
No questions yet, so after Todd,
Thanks,
we'll just
John.
go to credits.
And Todd, what have you got to say?
Hey, first, congratulations making it there. Everyone who gets to go, that's awesome. I'm going to just tell a shorter story here is that I've been really lucky. I've had teams do really well there, but I'm not going to tell one of those stories. I've got an MC, not going to tell that story other than to say, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, if you're out there, come see me again. There was a team, middle school, EDR. The time I really started picking up them, they were already 0-4. But you wouldn't know it when they showed up at the field. They just kept doing, and then they went 0-5, 0-6. They're at their last match. They're 0-9. No damper in enthusiasm at all. They're there right now. They're crowd favorites because everyone's trying to. Yeah, they went 0-10, and you know what? I don't know. I had a heart as big as those kids. Those kids were a great example to everyone there, just because they didn't give up. They enjoyed the situation. And I do happen to know they came back and I can't remember whether they were finalists or won that division the next year, but it was just part of their journey. So you know what, everybody, this journey, Worlds, is a great thing. It's just a start.
Thanks, Todd. So, VEX Robotics, VEX World is not all about winning. There's going to be a handful of trophies given out. There's going to be some tournament champions crowned. But, moving into your expectations, not everybody's going to get an award at this. That's just the reality. So I would just say, really get out of your devices, explore humanity, talk to as many people as you can, because they're from all around the world and you're all doing something that you love to do. So get out there and you're kind of like, you're part of a much bigger thing. This isn't like an everyday life experience here. Get off your phones, talk to strangers. My son, he wandered around VEX Worlds, and one of the greatest things he did was to exchange currencies with countries from all across the world. And that was a great opportunity for him to meet people from different cultures and learn from them. So it's pretty neat that you feel tiny, like you're a drop in an ocean, but also you're part of the ocean. You're part of VEX Robotics Worlds. So have fun with this and make the most of it. So enjoy. I'm not sure if we ended up with any of our questions here at the end of the segment.
One question.
We do. We have a question. All right. Now I've got to get a little thing moved on my screen, of course. There we go. The question is, will Andrew be emceeing? Yes, I will be there. And there's so many other great MCs that are going to be joining me. It's such an honor and a privilege to be at that experience and, being on the microphone. And I think it's karaoke, right? For me, the whole time. It's just a one-person karaoke show. Maybe not.
All right, we can go to credits when this is done.
All right, guys. Let's get back to our split screen of all our people, the founders of UnVEXed. And let's give everybody at the World Championships that's headed there a wave. Good luck to everybody. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you at the World Championship Tournament. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you there. Take care, everybody.